Today we're talking about fructose and why it may be an ingredient that is preventing you from achieving your goals, specifically health goals such as your getting to your ideal weight, not feeling hungry all the time, maybe even trying to reverse fatty liver. So we're talking about fructose, and some of you may have been hearing more and more about fructose in the news. It might be sounding a little negative, but you're a little maybe confused, to say the least, about why is fructose a big deal. Isn't fructose just a fruit sugar? Isn't it the sugar that we find in all the fruits that we've been eating since we were born? Well, we're not necessarily talking about fructose in fruit, the naturally occurring form of fructose, but especially the more manufactured form. So the commonly available fructose is high fructose corn syrup, and it's called high fructose because it's a super concentrated form of fructose. And it comes with a bit of glucose as well, but it's like more than 60% fructose. And this pure fructose, or fructose with glucose, is coming without fiber. So when we talk about fructose from fruit and other natural sources, vegetables and so on, it's coming with fiber. So it's not causing that kind of harm that the abnormally concentrated forms of fructose, which are more pure, will cause. And so I'm going to specifically give you 3 reasons why you should keep far away from fructose, okay? Especially the manufactured fructose. Now, the thing about fructose is that it's, I guess you can say, a chemical which can only be metabolized by one organ in the body. There are different types of sugars, by the way. Fructose is one of the types of sugars. There's glucose, there's galactose, and so on. So there are different types of sugars, and glucose is the sugar that we talk about mainly. It's the sugar that diabetics monitor with finger stick blood testing and so on, okay? And glucose, that sugar, can be utilized by all tissues of the body, all cells of the body. So your brain, your muscles, everything, skin, everything can use glucose for energy. But fructose, that sugar, can only be utilized by the liver. Only the liver is set up with the capability to process and metabolize fructose. Now, we said that fructose, the high fructose corn syrup in all the packaged foods, is a much more concentrated form. So whereas if we're getting fructose from fruit and vegetables and other foods, because it's coming with fiber, it is more slowly absorbed into the system. But high fructose corn syrup, which is usually in packaged, quite refined foods, because it's coming at us all at once, it's a higher concentration, much more than you would get in fruit, and because the food that it is in is already refined, so it means it's easier to digest. So the first problem with fructose is that it floods the liver. Now, we said the liver is the only organ that can metabolize fructose. So if you're getting that high concentration of fructose from a super easily digested food, it means all of that gets rapidly absorbed and heads straight for the liver. The liver is overwhelmed, and what you have is that it quickly tries to store that because it cannot utilize all that for energy, all that super high concentrated or high dose of fructose. So it quickly gets sort of metabolize it, and what happens is that it gets stored as fat. And where does this fat rest until it can be used? In the liver. So it's this sort of increase in high fructose corn syrup consumption from foods and drinks and so on, why this is contributing to the increased incidence of fatty liver disease, because all this fructose has to be metabolized. It's only metabolized by the liver, so it gets stored. It's too much to be utilized at once for energy. The excess gets stored, and we have this massive problem with fatty liver disease, which sadly is being seen in more and more children. And from what I've read, fatty liver is the #1 cause of children requiring liver transplants. Can you believe it? High fructose corn syrup. So apart from snacks like snack bars, candy, it's found in cereals as well. Alarmingly to me, it's also found in fruit juices. Once we were on a plane and my son selected a cranberry juice which we found it was a juice drink, and it had less than 50% of juice. And shockingly, because I look at the label of everything, I like to know what we're taking in, or what my family's taking in. And I was so sad to see that high fructose corn syrup was one of the ingredients in this cranberry juice drink. And when my son drank it, we were on the plane, and that's what was there, that he wanted. So he drank it. But imagine if he were to be drinking that every day, or imagine all the children who are drinking these fruit juices every single day, thinking, oh, it's fruit juice, that's natural, and not realizing that, oh, it's less than 15% juice, has a significant amount of high fructose corn syrup and other additives, right? So this is the problem with fructose. It floods and overwhelms the liver and therefore contributes to fatty liver disease. The second negative about fructose, which is one of the reasons why you should try to avoid it as much as you can, is that fructose feeds the bad bacteria, the bad microorganisms in the intestine. So, of course, our intestines are filled with microorganisms that there's a lot of talk now about the microbiome and about the fact that without a healthy microbiome, we are not able to be healthy. The microbiome just refers to the germs, the germs or the bugs that we have living on and in our body. So we have germs on our skin, in our mouths, inside the body, inside the intestines, and so on. So we're not sterile. We are living in balance with all these microorganisms, and most of them are found in the intestines. And these microorganisms need to be, fed good fiber and other nutrients and so on for the good ones to thrive. Now, if we're feeding, or if we're taking in more processed sort of artificial foods, those are the things that tend to feed the bad germs, the bad bugs. And when you're feeding preferentially the bad bugs, or if you're giving food that the bad bugs like, then it means that they will thrive more than the good bugs. And so because they're thriving and the good bugs are not, because the good bugs are not getting the kind of things that they prefer, which would be like fiber and so on from fruits and vegetables, then the bad bugs thrive and crowd out the good bugs. And so you have this imbalance, and when you have more bad bugs thriving, then that contributes or promotes ill health, a variety of issues from gut health, vitamin deficiencies, even obesity. We now know that depending on the makeup of the bugs in your intestine, we just say bugs, depending on the makeup of those bugs, that determines somebody's weight. And we know that because having a transplant of stool from a thin person to an overweight person can actually result in that person, the recipient of the stool transplant, losing weight because they have repopulated their intestines with good types of bacteria. So it's super important. So the fructose is one of the things that the bad bugs eat, and so, or need to thrive. And so if you're eating a lot, consuming a lot of high fructose corn syrup and fructose in other forms, and less of the fiber and other unprocessed, wholesome foods, then you're going to have an imbalance, and you're not going to be healthy. You cannot be healthy with an imbalance of the good bacteria. And then the third reason that I'm going to mention today about why you should stay far away from fructose is that fructose causes you to be hungry all the time. It causes you to be famished. And the thing about fructose is that it stimulates, right, or it turns on the hormone or some of the hormones responsible for telling you, oh, you're hungry, like you need to eat, right? We have all these signals. The body's this amazing creation where everything, millions of things going on, but everything works together in sync for us to be able to function. But if we do external things, which are usually artificial kind of processed manual things, artificial additives, these things negatively impact the natural functioning of the body. And so fructose is one of those things where we have these high concentrations of fructose going in and essentially turning up the hunger hormone. For those of you who want to know, the name of it is ghrelin, GHRELIN. And so fructose turns that up, stimulates it, and so we have this feeling of hunger, just wanting more. And you're drinking, you're feeling hungry, and so you're going, commonly you would grab a snack, one of the common snacks that is so readily available, or you might take a bottle of juice or soda, whatever, to sort of satisfy the hunger temporarily. But then it's a vicious cycle because more fructose, so more hunger, and you just have this constant feeling of hunger, you know, or just not being able to satisfy yourself for more than maybe 2 hours, okay? And so that's one of the reasons why you should stay far away from fructose. So just to summarize those 3 reasons, one is that fructose floods the liver, it overwhelms the liver, and this excess fructose just gets stored as fat, clogs up the liver, so it's not able to clean the body and just do whatever it needs to do to support our metabolism. Second thing is that fructose feeds bad bugs, and if we don't have a good enough amount of good bugs and we have instead too many bad bugs, we're not healthy, period. And then the third one is that fructose causes you to be famished. Basically, you're hungry all the time. And all of these 3 things together essentially wreck your metabolism. Your body just doesn't work well. It doesn't process food well in general. And this contributes to the biggest problem of like 75% of the population, at least in North America. 75% of people are overweight, and at least a third of people are outright obese, right? And so fructose is one of the things driving this problem. And if you start looking at ingredient lists, specifically look for high fructose corn syrup. That is what it is. That is usually what you would see. Or you can just look for fructose, just any word, when you say fructose anywhere, just know that that is probably an inferior food. It is processed, it's over processed, and it's just going to scramble things for you. So if you start looking at your labels, the ingredient lists can be quite long, but you will thank yourself for reading through the list and looking for that one little sneaky ingredient, fructose. And if you want your fructose, get it from fruit, get it from vegetables, get it from something that's unprocessed, where it's not super concentrated and overburdening the body. I hope you all found this helpful. I do these videos to help you to see some of the things that you need to do to reach your health goals. All of us want to be healthy. We don't want to be barely surviving. We want to be thriving and living our best life. And that's what I am here to help you all do. I just completed the 3rd Eat More Way Less challenge last week, and I'm working on some other exciting things to help you all reach your goals. So look out, new videos every Thursday on my YouTube channel. But if you want to follow me daily for short snippets, you can follow me on social media channels, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Hope you all found this helpful. If you did, share it with someone, subscribe, like, etc. Enjoy the rest of your day.